All right, so I just wanted to share with you some ideas or some additional ideas about using Scratch in the classroom. I know that we've done a little bit of an introduction already on coding with Scratch, and I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of the next level, some of the things that you can do with it. So first of all, I wanted to welcome everyone, and excited to share with you, and would love to have your insights, your thoughts on what we can do with Scratch in the classroom. So I guess the idea of Scratch, we should share a little bit more about it, and so I like to use this framework from Mitch Resnick. Sorry, Mitch Resnick from MIT Media Lab. He's one of uh, the the geniuses behind Scratch, and he talks about these 4 Ps that we like to use in Scratch. And so um, well, let's just dive into them. So there's the projects aspects of them. So what do I mean by projects? And it's about not having the students solve particular puzzles to learn how to code, but it's giving them projects, and then they're not only just finding solutions to certain problems, but they're also thinking about how they can incorporate this into a particular idea, and they're just sort of building and creating with that. And then the idea of these projects are also passions that they can have is so the students will be or young learners will be more interested when they are have a sense of ownership with their learning and when they really care about something, and so they really want to overcome those difficulties with it. And also we see that, with social interactions through working in the same general physical space or Scratch as an online community, there's a way that people are able to share their projects, get feedback, get suggestions, and so they can think about that and incorporate those into their project, seeing it as an iterative process, and then also contributing back to the community and sharing and suggesting ideas as well. And then the last but not least is just playing, right? We know that when we're young and we play and we explore and we tinker, we start to learn things. We take risks because we're not sure of the particular boundaries of a particular toy or group of things. And so that's the exciting thing about exploring with Scratch. So when we like to share and create with Scratch, we often think about, or we can, again, thinking about different frameworks of creating and exploring. This is an idea as well, is sort of imagining a project. How does that look? How do we, imagine that it would play out for a user, and then as you as the creator, or students as the creator, young learners as the creator. And then they go ahead and create that project. They then play it or experience it and then share it out. It's always nice to share it, get some feedback on that, and you can then reflect on it and say, okay, this worked, this didn't work. I expected people to use it in this way, but in fact they used it in this way. And then you can sort of think about that spiral effect of imagining what changes you can make, adding on to those things. All right. And so we can start to bring Scratch into various contexts in the classroom. And so one that we often think about right away is how coding and mathematics are very closely related or very closely linked. And so one example I have here is a small little certificate that I've created, to get students to create some code that can draw all of these shapes. So again, thinking about some of the math, some of the angles, some of the distances that they have to travel to be able to create some of these projects. And so I'm actually going to jump over into Scratch, and I'm going to showcase a bunch of different projects, different ideas, and then just to give you some ideas of some of the things that I've created or gotten inspired from other groups, and then we can chat a little bit more about some of the other things. So like I said, shapes is a big one, or it can be a big one because there's drawing in there. With Scratch, you can use the pen module, and so you can see here's a group or a studio, or essentially an online folder of about 15 projects that are doing just that. And so we can see that there's different ideas here. If I just dive into this one, we can see that when we click on the button, I'm just going to make it nice and big. So we click on the button, we can draw it out there. So if I wanted to just explore them, there we are. So if I wanted to think about this, maybe one option would be adding another a reset button. I do have a reset. It's on the spacebar. So obviously I needed to reread my directions here, but yeah. So and you can see some of the things that I thought about. But again, it's just exploring and creating with people. So here's another example here of again, just doing a little bit of art, a little bit of math, starting to think about how things are connected. So if we jump inside this one, you can see that our cat is just turning around in a circle, so 360 degrees. And essentially what's happening is they're sort of moving out a certain length and then going back and then moving 1 degree and then picking a random color and a random pen size between 1 and 10. So you can see how this could be fun to explore, have the students remix this or create options with it as well. Here's another one that I really like, and so in this one it's a counting language one. And so I got this idea, and so you'll see that I've got a remix here, or a remix tree, as they say, of this particular project. And so you can see the different people that have been involved with getting it up to here. And so if I click on the green flag, I click here to change the language, and then I can press the letters here
3
to be able to
4
change that.
2, 7, 8, 9, 4.
And so as you create, so this one I've left blank for you. So I'd love for you if you wanted to go ahead and remix this. And so you can have some student voice in here, like literally student voice, to have them create some recordings. And so this was me
0
doing a recording, and then I had my son
0.
do a recording, and so you can start to explore with that. And so some of their native languages would be fun to explore with in there. Another math related one, and so that one was sort of a language, a little bit math, a little bit language on that one. This one that I've created is exploring a project where you're picking the dice or you're clicking the dice, and then what you're trying to do is click on the coins here, the 4 available coins, to try to get to as close to $1. And so I just clicked and I got 4. So That was pretty easy. So again, really cool project. I have this as a finished project or as a template and a YouTube video that people can watch and share. And so I'd be happy to, I can link those down below for you to explore as well. Another one here is the Pythagorean Theorem. So a very simple project where we just have some user input. And so it's sort of asking for input. So what is side A? So let's just say 3. Side B is 4. And so it will tell me that side C is 5. So just a very basic project that we'll go through here and explore this. So nice to get started when you're introducing these sort of options with your students. Last one that I wanted to share with in terms of, I think this might be the last one. I don't know. I've got a few that I wanted to share. This one's a cool financial literacy curriculum expectation. So here I can click on, so I can reset, and then I can click on the different things here, and then I can calculate the amount of money that I would have if this was added to my purse or wallet. And so you can sort of, explore with that, adding different coins, and obviously the different coins you're going to change based on different amount of money that's in there. And so the calculation is where you start to add the different amounts. So the number of pennies, the number of dimes, quarters, loonies, that's how much you're adding to your total. And so here I put it all in one go, but you don't have to necessarily do that. You can add it one at a time as well. All right, so here is an example of just a very simple sort of, we can start to think about stories and storytelling. This was a little bottle opener that my son made for me, and so I thought it would be sort of cool. It is Superman, so I just took a picture of it and I embedded it into a Scratch project. So you could turn this into a prompt for a story. Either a writing story and they then show the visuals here, or you can get into the whole story is built in Scratch with narration, with dialogue, and those sort of things. Oh, here's another one that is related to math again. I thought I had finished all my math ones, but yeah, so here is an example of something that gets into probability and looking at the different amounts when I use something like a rock, paper, scissors game. So here, if I click on the blue, you'll see that it shows me scissors, and scissors is now 1, and there's 100% of my throws are scissors. So if I click on it again, I now have 1 rock and 1 scissors. So I can keep doing this. So one would assume that we'd see a paper. Haha. So if I keep throwing, or I keep, we'll keep seeing the number of the individual ones come up, and then also the percentage of those changing. But now, if we're starting to explore this, I'm not going to click this button for 100 times, 1,000 times. And so what I can do is I can go ahead and click the gray, which is sort of the turbo button. And so here I can say, well, how much will happen in 500 throws? And so this will go through 500 throws very, very quickly, and we can start to see how, and even just those 6 throws were pretty even. But as you start to get the law of large numbers, what will happen with my 506 throws? And so it's sort of interesting to see how scissors, rock, paper have that distribution, not super even. But again, if we wanted to say, like, go up to 5,000 throws, let's see what will happen. So I'll come back to this. We don't need to watch it right now. But let's move on to some of the other projects that we can explore. So here is an example of sort of a history geography type of application. And so here we're going to learn a little bit about Gatineau, Quebec. So that's where I'm living at the moment. And so there's some three little points here. So when I hover over it, so this is a view of Point Gatineau. So Point Gatineau is this region right here. So if I click on it, and so that gives you an old view of it, or artist representation. Whereas here, this is an old picture of the hotel that's sort of in that area. This is like the Portage, and this is Eddy Bridge, or the Chaudière Bridge. So we've got Ottawa, the national capital here, which is on this side, and Gatineau over here. I'm turning it into a geography lesson there. So you can see how, so here's sort of Gatineau, and then I'll click it again. This is Ottawa, but historic representation of it. And so you can see how you can explore with different areas of going into the library or the archives, getting some cool pictures, and then incorporating them into a Scratch project. And so here we can go inside and just have a quick look at what it looks like. But if I touch, or just touching or hovering over with my mouse pointer, it will tell me what it is. And then when I actually click on it, it sort of shows me a different costume, or that different picture. So a nice little geography history lesson in that one. Here we have a sort of science application. So this one's exploring the rate at which molecules are moving at different temperatures. And so this KMT is the kinetic molecular theory. And so as we increase the temperature, we can see how the molecules will speed up. Now, obviously, I don't have a perfect correlation with temperature of the water molecules. These are supposed to represent water molecules, but sort of can give you an idea of, when you get to 0, they sort of don't move a lot, sort of just vibrate in place. And then as we heat up, they move faster and faster. And then when it's sort of 100 degrees, they would be going from a liquid state to a gaseous state. But again, we're not, I'm not directly relating the speed of the molecules. It's more just the visual representation of it. And so it's very cool that, again, you can use some variables to manipulate your projects. And so I can click on see inside. And what it is it's taking that the movement is directly related to the temperature, and then it's also, sort of bumping around as well. All right. So here's another translation project. So there's some really cool extensions within Scratch that you can start to utilize. So here we've got a list of a bunch of languages. So I can click on, and this is sort of a little bit of a work in progress. But right now, if I just type in, no, I don't want to translate. I want to translate into French, and what I would like to translate hello.
Hello. Bonjour.
And so here it translates hello into French. And so you can see how there's some pretty awesome opportunities with this, utilizing this is I need to fix this for sure. But there's definitely some cool opportunities with this translate feature. And so you can set your language to lots of different options. And again, it's really cool for young learners to showcase that, to explore with that. I think that might have been all in terms of some of the projects that I wanted to share. I've got a bunch more. Here's another studio in terms of like introductory projects, like some very, very simple projects that I can link below and you can explore. But yeah, in terms of that's just an example of some of the projects that are out there. And here's another example of just some art, some math, some exploring. And so again, I took this idea or remixed this idea from one of my friends, and we started to explore with how this will look in Scratch. And so some very interesting options and creating with Scratch. All right. So I'm gonna head back over here. Oh. So I've already talked a lot about the options of linking to the curriculum and seeing it in various contexts with math, geography, history, storytelling, translations, really some fun opportunities. And actually, I'm going to jump back over here. Oh, it's still going. That's pretty cool. All right, so what I want to do now is talk to you a little bit about some resources that are available for you to keep going with some of this. So Scratch in Practice is a great little website that Scratch hosts. They have various YouTube channel, or their YouTube channel is on there. They also do some live programming, other opportunities for themes, for jumping in and exploring with creating. The Creative Computing Guide is a nice way to support learners in the classroom. So you're sort of not sure where to start. They have one of their particular projects that they've done that I've really enjoyed is the Getting Unstuck guide, and so it has ways if they're struggling, if students are struggling either to start with a project idea or they're struggling with their project idea, is there's these prompts that will help guide them. And then there's a few other links that can help you and your learners to explore with Scratch. Another thing that I wanted to share about, which is really cool, and for those of you that have it, is using Scratch and the microbit. So being able to connect those two and explore and create with those. So there's some really nice links available, and I can share this presentation in the chat or in the description below, so you can go ahead and click those links and explore those at your convenience. So I really wanted to thank you for watching, for being part of this. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, as well as come explore my page on Scratch in terms of some of the projects that I've already shared. But then there's lots more. I try to update them at a constant rate so that you can explore and learn with everyone. All right. So thanks very much again, and I'm excited to see your next creations and your students' creations. So I'll leave with this. So we're coming close to the end of our 5,000 throws, and you can really see how it's we're pretty even in terms of the percentages of rocks, papers, and scissors. So pretty cool. All right, so again, I thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, you have any comments, I'm excited to hear how you're going to use Scratch in your classroom with your learners. Happy coding, everyone!